FrugalSim videos are powered by Jetline Systems.
Hello YouTube, this is Frugal and this is Navigraph Charts. This video is actually kind of a first impressions, almost review of Navigraph's new Charts app, which actually came out about a month or two ago, and I'm actually loving it. It's got a ton of new features to the point that it's actually competitive now with products like Avlosoft EFB. The disclaimer, of course, to use Navigraph Charts, which is a free app, you do need a Navigraph subscription. The one I have is, I think it's about $8 a month. They actually provide it to me for free, which is very kind of them. And that $8 a month gets you the charts and the AirAC nav data for your complex aircraft. Now, I've been using Navigraph's AirAC data for years. Every single one of my fully loaded videos uses Navigraph AirAC data. A lot of them also use Navigraph Charts as well. Let me talk you through it. So first of all, it does everything that you're familiar with. So I can go up here and I can search for, look, here's Stansted. I can find Stansted here and it shows me all sorts of other things as well, like controlled airspace and things like that. And I can open up Stansted. By the way, I'm aware that it's not recording my mouse, so I'll try to talk you through everything. And then having found an airport, I can favorite it. I can go through the various stars, approaches, taxiways, SIDS, and reference information, which is great. No difference there. The charts are, I think they're still Lido format. I'm not sure. The Lufthansa format, I think. No, they're actually Jeppesen format again. But you can see here the charts are every bit as good as they always used to be. They have color now. They're really, really nice. But that's really not where the power of the app comes. Having these charts is absolutely invaluable. But the real power of this application now comes from the fact that these charts can be overlaid. So I can't do it from here, I think, so I won't do it here, but I'll show you the overlays in a little while. In terms of the map itself, you can see we're currently looking at a low en route map. We can change that to a high en route map, and we can change that to a world map. Everything on this map is now clickable, and you can get information about it very, very quickly. So if I go and click on Shoreham VOR down here, oops, I actually clicked on airway there. Hang on, let me scroll in. There's Shoreham. I have to click on Shoreham. It will pop over, this is DME, sorry. It'll pop open on the right-hand side, the frequency of that. If I go Mayfield VOR, which is an actual VOR, then there's the frequency of that. You can also click on the airways themselves, segments of the airways. So if I click on that one, it will show me this segment is valid from 9,000 feet to 24,500. It's a low altitude en route, and it takes you from Midhurst to Mayfield. You can see that here. In addition, you can actually click on the fixes tab and you can see the individual fixes and their locations and coordinates that make up this segment. So it's actually going from Midhurst down to Mayfield. You can see those two things right there. And again, you can click on Midhurst over here and it will tell you all about it. And you can click on Mayfield over here and it will tell you all about that, which is absolutely phenomenal. One thing it doesn't do that I wish it did is you can see around here, controlled airspace around London Gatwick. It would be nice to be able to click on that. What you're getting here is the airspace control, kinda, you know, how it's controlled. So it's controlled from ground to 35,000 feet, but you can't click on the individual control like Class C and Class Bravo airspaces around airports, which is a bit of a shame, but not a big deal. The real power of this, and the reason this now kind of competes somewhat with something like Avlosoft EFB though, is the overlays. If I scroll on up here and find a London Stansted, there's Stansted there. You can see on the left hand side I've got all the approach charts for London Stansted. What I can do is I can click show overview and it will show me overviews for these approaches based on a selected runway. So these are the approaches for localizer runway 4, ILS runway 4 and RNAV runway 4. I can change that to runway 22 and we'll see the approaches for that, which is kind of cool. You can do the same thing though also for SIDS and stars. So if I was doing a flight, which I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to show you that in a second. But if I was doing a flight from London Stansted and I want to see the SIDS, I can do a SID overlay here. And again, it's based on a selected runway. So in this case, runway 22, if I want to go down to Biarritz, which is how I have my flight plan set up, the most appropriate two SIDS for me are going to be Det1R and Lid 6R. And it shows you those things. Now, one thing that, again, I wish this did, but it's not doing, is I can't, oh, actually I can. You can actually, I didn't realize that, you can actually click on the lines of a SID and it will pop up on the right hand side. And then from that right hand side, what you can do is you can click to view the chart or you can add it to your route. So here's the chart, that's the SID. How cool is that? So very, very quickly, I can identify SIDS and stars and approaches, select them, view the charts on them. But again, there's even more. It gets much better once you actually start to do a flight plan. Flight planning in Navigraph charts is absolutely brilliant. I really, really like it. First of all, if you're doing just VFR, not VFR, doing low altitude IFR flights like in a Cessna, you can actually do that flight right here. You can plan it right here just by clicking. So if I wanted to do a flight, let's say from, gosh, let me see. Let's say we went from Biggin Hill and we're going to go down to Shoreham. That's one I've not done before. So we'll click on flights. Going to start a new flight. And we're going to go from that. So we're going to start off at Biggin Hill. And I can type in the name of the airport or the ICAO code, which is kind of cool. And we're going to go on down to Shoreham. Very short, simple, standard IFR flight. And I can tell Navigraph charts I want it to auto-create my route. Look, we can choose here high airways or low airways. If we do auto-generate, it's going to use the airways. So we're not going to do that. We'll create. Now I've got my flight at the top here. And what I want to do is go VOR to VOR. Okay, so I'm going to go straight down to Mayfield VOR. I'm going to add that. Whoops. Let me get rid of this thing. I'm going to add that to my route. So there's my first segment taking off from Biggin Hill direct to Mayfield VOR. Then I want to go down to Seaford VOR. So we'll click on that one. We'll add that to my route like so. We'll insert that after Mayfield. And I'm building my route, which is cool. So you can actually use this for planning your Cessna, your GA aircraft IFR flights as well, which I really, really like. But the real power of this actually comes when you start to do the crazy big flights in your jets like 737s. Now, I recently did a flight. Let's do a new flight here. I recently did a flight in the Zibo 737-800, which I'm going to film shortly and explain. And I went from London Stansted in a Ryanair jet down to Biarritz. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You can import your flights, by the way, from SimBrief. So if you're doing your flight planning in SimBrief, then you just key in your account information. It will import the flight directly into Navigraph charts, which is great. And there is a little utility that gets installed with this thing as well, which connects to the sim, and it will live track your progress. I know it works with FSX and Prepared. I'm not sure if it works with X-Plane yet, but I know it works with FSX and Prepared. And that really does turn this into a full EFB. It will actually track your progress live on the charts. Anyway, we're going to go from EGSS, London Stansted. We're going to go down to Biarritz, LFBZ, there, Biarritz. I'm not going to put an alternate in, and we'll create. So there's my route. Now, the brilliant thing with this is you can actually type in the route. So if you do have a flight plan from somewhere else, like FlightAware, or in my case, PFPX, you can just type it straight in. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go from my waypoints. I'm not going to put in the SIDS and stars. We'll use the tool here to do that. I can go from LID through Uniform Mike 189 to Drake, from Uniform Lima 151 to Sitet, through Uniform November 859 to Balan, Uniform Lima 152 to LMG, Uniform November 857 to Vavix, and Uniform Papa 181 to Magic, like so. Now, having saved that, look, it will process everything I typed in and show me the actual route. Now you can drop into the overlays and choose appropriate procedures. So I know in my flight plan I'm taking off runway 22 from London Stansted. So we'll pop on down here and we'll go runway 22. It's added that into my flight plan. Now I can click on departures, and I want to go with the, well, let's not go with anything. Let's show the overview once again. There's the visual overview, and it says for runway 22 on that left hand side. And what I can do, as I just found out, is I can click on this yellow line, which is LID 6 Romeo. Click on that one. There it is. Yeah, that looks great for me. Add to the route. And you can see it pops on up the top here in my flight plan. I'm now going Stansted via runway 22, LID 6R out to LID, Uniform Mike 189, and so on and so on. We can do the same thing for the arrival, which is very, very, very cool. So if I scroll the map all the way down just by clicking and dragging. Okay, so what we're seeing here is there's Biarritz, and we're seeing various waypoints around here like Sosto, Sigos, Ureku, Ereku, no idea how you pronounce these things, Bidak, Sovos, and so on. So let's look at the arrivals. I am planning currently to arrive on, I think it's runway 27. So let's pop this open. And well, I can't do that there, can I? So let's do the overlay. Here's the arrivals. Now it's come up here on the left hand side, choose a runway, which is what I was looking to get. So runway 27. Here are the arrivals. So from that final waypoint on my route, I've got these ones. Mage 8L, 8B, 8 Sierra, and 8 Victor. And they all get me on approach to runway 27. So let's maybe take the blue one, which is Mage 8S, or Sierra. We'll click on that, add it into the route. In fact, we'll not. Let's pop this open here. It's good to pop open the charts because you can see that this is runway 27 RNAV arrivals. So that's important. So in terms of my final approach to landing, it's going to be an RNAV approach if I use this procedure. So coming into Magic, which we got in our flight plan, then all the way down here, here's the various altitude constraints. There's BDAC over there. My initial approach fix is here. Great. So we will probably take that one. Now here's the cool thing. I can get rid of this. I'm going to add this to my route. There. So it's now in my route. We'll remove the overlay. Let's choose the approach now. We just saw it's an RNAV approach, right? So it's going to be RNAV, runway 27, and it's showing me at the top here, Mage 8S to approach is going to be either ILS Zulu runway 27 or RNAV runway 27. So we'll pick up RNAV, like so, and I think that's added into my route. It is. This is just a holding pattern, I think, on this particular RNAV, but we can view that and find out. So if I click on that, I can view the chart there. And we'll find out, yeah, it is. You can see here. So there's my full approach. Now, one of these buttons, this one, it's like the fourth one down, says overlay. If I overlay this, check that out. So I can actually overlay the charts directly on my map. And again, if you're using the tool that plugs into your sim and tracks your flight, it will show your progress through the chart, which is a first. I've never seen that done. I'm a big fan of Avlosoft DFB. Pretty much every fully loaded flight I've ever done uses Avlosoft DFB. And it kind of has its own generated format of charts. They're not official charts. So having something like Navigraph charts here with the official Jeppesen charts and showing my position on the charts is absolutely brilliant. Love that. And you can switch between these charts, but bear in mind the map can only overlay one chart at a time. So if I wanted to choose this, which is the star, I can just click on the display chart button there and it will switch the view to show that chart instead. Very, very cool. Now it gets even better than that. You'll notice there's a little pin icon here. All the appropriate charts that you're going to need in your flight, you can pin them to a pin board down the bottom here. So I'll click on that one. We'll pop open, oops, let's overlay that one. Nope, that's not working, is it? It's this one, my bad. That one, there. We'll overlay that, there we go, and we'll pin that. And then similarly, let's scroll all the way back up to Stansted and look at the charts and the procedures that I'm using here, which would be, hang on, let's get rid of this, which would be this line here. Okay, so we'll overlay that one and I'll pin that. Now, at the bottom of the user interface, I've got a pinboard list of my probably most preferred charts for this flight, and I can quickly and instantly get back to them. And there's an overlay button right on this pinboard as well. So I can click on each chart and I can view each chart, but I can also instantly overlay them on the map, which is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So that, in a nutshell, is Navigraph charts, their latest version of their app. Now there is an Android version of this as well, and I understand an iOS one is coming soon. No idea when that is, but it's supposed to be coming soon. But this is absolutely great. The fact that it plugs into your sim and tracks your progress, the fact that you can do these overlays, it stores the flights as well. So there's that previous flight I did down to Shoreham, and this one, once I'm done with the app, it will save this flight as well. You can actually store those charts and these flights and get back to them very, very quickly. But it's absolutely brilliant. As I said beginning, I got to stress as I said at the beginning of this video, you do need a Navigraph subscription. I would recommend, it's about €8.30 or something, that subscription, because that gives you your AirAC data and your charts, and that's a monthly fee, but you can get a discount. I think the annual price is about €75. In my opinion, well worth it, which is why I've used Navigraph pretty much since I started my YouTube career and continue to do so. Their data and their charts are absolutely invaluable. That's Navigraph Charts. My name is Frugal. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you all very soon.